Chosen one, lock your attention on this message right now. That restless feeling you have been carrying, the one that tells you something is about to shift. Stop pushing it down. The enemy is working overtime today for one reason and one reason only. He knows what you are about to hear. Something is coming. Something so significant that heaven moved first to make sure you received this word before the moment arrives. And that is exactly why you are here. Not by accident, not by algorithm, but by divine assignment. It all breaks open soon. The waiting, the silence, the tension of feeling like you are standing on the edge of something enormous, but not being able to see what is on the other side. But listen carefully, because this is the part you cannot afford to miss. You are not being brought to this moment despite what you have walked through. You are being brought to this moment because of it. Think back to this week. That moment when you almost gave up. When the silence from heaven felt so loud it was deafening. When you asked for a sign and the sky gave you nothing. You thought that meant you were forgotten. You thought the quietness meant delay. But you kept going anyway. You did not know it then, but that decision, that one act of continuing when everything in you wanted to stop, was the exact moment heaven accelerated your timeline. You did not slow your destiny down. You unlocked it. You did not find this recording by accident. The algorithm did not bring you here. God did. This is a divine appointment scheduled before the foundations of the earth. You are not a viewer stumbling onto a video. You are a chosen one, standing at the edge of a revelation that was prepared specifically for your ears, for your situation, for this exact season of your life. Do not click away. The version of you that has been praying through the dark, pressing through the exhaustion, holding on when everyone else let go, that version of you deserves to stay until the last second of this message. In the next few minutes, I am going to reveal exactly what is coming and why God wants you to hear it first. I am going to walk you through the divine audit that shows you every moment you thought was a setback was actually heaven setting the stage. And at the end, I am going to give you the declaration that positions you to receive what is already on its way. Do not scroll past this. The version of you that has been asking God if you are still in the plan, still in the promise, still chosen. This is the moment your answer arrives. If you leave before the end, you leave before the verdict. I know what the last 72 hours have felt like. The atmosphere has not just been quiet, it has been charged. Like something enormous is pressing against a door, waiting for the precise moment to break through. Maybe you have been waking up early this week with a heaviness you cannot name. Not sadness exactly, but weight. Like something is sitting on your chest before you even open your eyes. Or maybe you have been in the middle of ordinary moments, washing dishes, driving to work, sitting in a waiting room, and something inside you suddenly goes completely still, like your spirit is listening for something your mind cannot yet hear. You feel suspended, like you are standing in the hallway between two rooms. The door behind you has already closed, but the door in front of you has not opened yet. And in that hallway, in that in-between space, the enemy has started whispering a very specific lie. He is telling you that the reason you are in the hallway is because you disqualified yourself. He is replaying a moment from this week in your mind. Maybe that conversation you walked away from. Maybe that opportunity you did not pursue because fear was louder than faith. Maybe that prayer you stopped halfway through because you did not believe the words you were saying. The accuser is pointing at that moment and telling you that is why the door has not opened. He is telling you that something huge was coming, but because of what you did, because of what you failed to do, it has been rerouted to someone more deserving. But I need you to hear what the scripture actually declares over this moment. Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Listen to that promise. I know the plans I have for you. Not had, not used to have before you made that mistake. Have, present tense, active, unrevoked. The plan for your life was not cancelled by your worst week. It was not paused by your silence. It was not rerouted because of your hesitation. God does not plan the way humans plan. His purposes do not expire. His timing does not get thrown off by your imperfect response to imperfect circumstances. The enemy wants you to believe you are in the hallway because you failed, but that is a deception. You are not in the hallway because you failed. You are in the hallway because what is coming through that door is so significant, so life-altering, so outside of anything you could manufacture on your own, that God needed you positioned, prepared, and still before it arrived. The heaviness you feel is not the weight of being forgotten. It is the weight of anticipation. It is the atmosphere that precedes the miraculous. The silence is not absence. It is the breath before the proclamation. You think the waiting means you missed it, but let me reframe your reality right now. You are not behind. You are first in line. And now that you know where you stand, let me tell you something about the hallway itself. Most people waste it, tragically squandering the sacred interim. They pace back and forth, consumed by a restless anxiety, their footsteps echoing the unresolved questions in their souls. They bang on the closed door behind them, a desperate, futile attempt to reopen what God, in His infinite wisdom, has already sealed and moved them beyond. It's like trying to re-enter a burning house from which you've already been rescued. Or they sit down against the cool, unforgiving wall, a posture of perceived stillness that they mistakenly convince themselves means surrender. They confuse spiritual apathy with divine acceptance, believing that inaction is humility. But the hallway, my friend, was never meant to be merely endured, a bleak space to simply pass through or survive. It was meant to be inhabited, to be fully engaged with, understood as a crucible, a sacred space of profound transformation. Because something profoundly unique, something absolutely essential, happens to a person in that in-between space, that liminal threshold, that cannot happen anywhere else. The seemingly relentless pressure of that space is not a punishment sent to break you, but rather a powerful, purposeful force of formation designed to make you. It is the divine sculptor's hand pressing against the raw clay, not to destroy it, but to bring forth the masterpiece hidden within. Think about the ancient, meticulous process of refining gold. The fire in the refiner's furnace does not, in fact, destroy the gold. It passionately, fiercely, intensely destroys everything that was never gold to begin with. The dross, the impurities, the alloy that dilutes its value and obscures its brilliance. And just as you cannot rush that fire without irrevocably ruining the magnificent result, so too you cannot bypass the intensity of your current process. What you have been walking through these last weeks, these last months, perhaps even these last years, the seasons of stripping and sifting, has not been God withholding from you out of stinginess or neglect. Far from it. It has been God lovingly, strategically, and painstakingly removing from you everything, every attachment, every false belief, every self-reliance, every fear-based coping mechanism that would ultimately corrupt what He is about to place with great care and precision into your open hands. The delay you have perceived was never for a single moment about your ultimate destination. Your destination is fixed in His divine purpose. The delay was always profoundly about your capacity to carry it, your spiritual maturity, your emotional resilience, your inner strength, your unshakable alignment with His will, so that the blessing, when it arrives, does not become a burden or a snare, but a vessel through which His glory flows unhindered. He is preparing not just the gift, but the giver of the gift within you. But here is where it goes deeper, much deeper than merely understanding the refining process intellectually. Because while intellectual comprehension is one thing, most people still find themselves unable to fully, wholeheartedly step into what is coming, into the magnificent destiny awaiting them, because of something subtle, yet potent, that they have not yet named. There is an unspoken agreement you made somewhere along the way, not an agreement uttered out loud in conscious declaration, not even an intentional, well-thought-out decision. But it happened, quietly, insidiously, in the dark, during one of those raw, vulnerable moments when the piercing pain of your present circumstances was infinitely louder, more insistent, more convincing than the distant whisper of God's promise. In that space of weariness, disillusionment, or heartbreak, you made an agreement with limitation. You started to subtly believe that maybe what was coming for other people, the breakthroughs, the blessings, the expansive favor, was simply not coming for you. It wasn't that you lost faith entirely. Your spirit might still cling to fragments of hope. But somewhere in the prolonged exhaustion, the constant battle, the repeated disappointments, you started to edit your own expectation, to pare down the grand vision God had painted for you. You began to believe a smaller, safer, more manageable version of the promise. And that insidious agreement, that quiet inner contraction, that subconscious lowering of the ceiling, has been actively creating an invisible but impenetrable barrier, a self-imposed ceiling that your breakthrough, no matter how divinely ordained, simply cannot pass through until that agreement is acknowledged and decisively broken. This is precisely what the Apostle Paul was confronting with profound spiritual insight in his letter to the Romans when he penned those transformative words that we are to be transformed by the renewing of our minds. He did not say transformed by the renewing of our circumstances, though those often shift as a result. He did not say transformed by the renewing of our environment, though new seasons bring new landscapes. He specifically pinpointed the mind, because the true battlefield, the place where destinies are forged or forfeited, was never out there in the visible world of challenges and adversaries. It was always unequivocally in here, within the intricate landscape of your thoughts, beliefs, perceptions, and inner narratives. Your outer world, the tangible manifestation of your reality, cannot permanently exceed the capacity of your inner world to receive, steward, and sustain it. If you find yourself repeatedly hitting the same invisible ceiling, encountering similar patterns of frustration or stagnation, it is time to stop exhaustively blaming the ceiling, the external conditions, or the people around you, and start courageously examining the deep-seated agreement, that silent, often unconscious pact that built that ceiling in the first place. This is not about blaming yourself, but empowering yourself to identify and dismantle the unseen architecture of limitation. And this deep dive leads us to something most people miss entirely, a crucial distinction often overlooked. Because breaking agreement with limitation is not merely about summoning a burst of positive thinking, a superficial optimism that quickly fades under pressure. It is not about speaking louder affirmations without true conviction, or believing harder in a forced, strained effort, or attempting to summon more spiritual intensity through sheer willpower. While these can be elements, they are not the core. It goes far deeper, straight to the root, to the foundational bedrock of your being. And that root, almost without exception, is identity. You have to profoundly understand, accept, and embody who you actually are in God's eyes, who you were eternally created to be, before you can fully and unreservedly receive what you were actually promised. The promise always aligns with the person. There is a moment in Scripture that, though brief, does not get nearly enough attention for its devastating implications. When Moses, under divine instruction, sent 12 spies into the promised land of Canaan, 10 of them returned with a report steeped in fear and self-doubt. They did not simply report that the inhabitants of the land were giants. They emphatically declared that they were like grasshoppers in their own sight. Notice, they weren't grasshoppers in the enemy's sight. They weren't grasshoppers in God's sight. They were grasshoppers in their own perception, in their internal narrative. And that singular, seemingly innocuous phrase, born of a distorted self-perception, dismantled an entire generation's inheritance. They were standing literally at the edge of everything God had promised, the land flowing with milk and honey, and what stopped them was not the physical size of the giants they faced externally. It was the perceived shrunken size of themselves in their own internal, self-limiting perception. They had been miraculously delivered from the physical bondage of Egypt, led through the Red Sea, and sustained in the wilderness. But tragically, Egypt, with its slave mentality of scarcity, fear, and unworthiness, had not yet been fully delivered from them. Their physical address had changed, their geographical location was new, but their internal identity had not. They were free people still thinking like slaves. And here is where it starts to get uncomfortably, perhaps intimately close to home, because you, my dear friend, may be standing in a remarkably similar place right now. You have endured and survived things that should have absolutely broken you into irreparable pieces. You have held on with unwavering tenacity through seasons of profound darkness and relentless challenge that would have silenced and defeated most people. You have prayed your way through seemingly insurmountable impossibilities, navigating through waters that threatened to overwhelm. And yet, despite all this evidence of your resilience and God's faithfulness, there is still a subtle, often unconscious part of you that flinches when truly good things, truly expansive blessings, get too close. A part of you that, after moments of joy or success, instinctively waits for the other shoe to drop, braced for an inevitable setback, unable to fully relax into the goodness. A part of you that quietly, perhaps even religiously, believes that the blessings you joyously declare and affirm over other people, the promises you claim for their lives, might somehow, perhaps because of some inherent flaw or past failure, not fully apply to you. Let me be clear and uncompromising. That is not humility, no matter how much it masquerades as spiritual virtue. That is an unhealed wound, a deep-seated pain, wearing the deceptive costume of piety. And it is time, right now, to courageously call it what it is, a barrier to your complete reception of God's extravagant grace. Coming up, the hidden pattern that has been recycling your setbacks, and the one spiritual shift that interrupts it permanently. Stay with me, because what is next is the part that tends to break things open. But before we get there, before we unveil that crucial shift, you need to deeply understand something profoundly liberating about divine timing, a concept that most spiritual teaching, unfortunately, often gets wrong. We frequently talk about God's timing as if it is some cosmic calendar God is meticulously checking, meticulously adhering to, as if he has a rigid schedule of appointments, limited windows of opportunity, and arbitrary deadlines that dictate his movements. But divine timing, in its truest, most profound sense, is not primarily about when something is destined to occur. It is fundamentally about who you are becoming. When you are fully transformed into the person who can steward the promise with wisdom, integrity, and grace, without being destroyed by its weight, its demands, or its glory, then, and only then, does the timing truly become right. The appointed moment for your breakthrough is not merely marked on some predetermined cosmic schedule in the heavens. It is dynamically marked, profoundly etched on your transformation, on the very fabric of your becoming. And every single thing you have been through, every refining fire, every deafening silence, every slammed and closed door that left you feeling stranded, every arduous morning you woke up and had to consciously choose faith again, even when your soul felt nothing but barren emptiness. Every one of these experiences has been meticulously, divinely sculpting the you that is not just desiring, but truly ready for what is about to magnificently arrive. It is a perfecting work, a preparation of the vessel for the overflowing of His presence. This profound truth is the revelation of Esther, a woman who did not merely walk into her moment of destiny. She was meticulously prepared for it, often without her even knowing the full scope of her preparation. The months of purification, the careful instruction, the waiting in the palace harem, these were not simply external rituals, but a period of profound internal refinement, a spiritual shaping for a purpose far grander than she could initially comprehend. Mordecai's famous piercing question to her was not merely rhetorical comfort or a gentle suggestion. Who is to say you have not come to the kingdom for such a time as this? It was a divine confrontation, a clarion call to her preordained identity. He was not just encouraging her with kind words, he was courageously revealing to her that the intricate intersection of her difficult history as an orphan, her unexpected position in the palace, her deeply felt pain over her people's plight, and the wellspring of courage stirring within her was not accidental. It was, rather, a masterful, divine architecture. God had been meticulously building something, using the precise blueprints of her entire life. Every joy, every sorrow, every twist, every turn, to construct a platform for His redemptive plan. And the very moment she stepped fully, courageously, into her true identity, shedding her fear and embracing her purpose with complete surrender, everything the enemy meant for destruction, the genocidal decree against her people, became the powerful, divinely orchestrated instrument of their deliverance. Her perceived limitations became the very levers of liberation. Indeed, your entire life has been an intricate divine architecture, a grand design unfolding. And what in your past might feel like scattered rubble, like broken pieces of dreams, shattered hopes, or past failures, has actually been all along the deep foundational bedrock, the unseen but essential support structure of what is now magnificently rising within you and around you. God wastes nothing. He repurposes every fragment, every shard, every experience into the masterpiece of your destiny. Now here is the part that most people are not ready to hear, a truth that can feel challenging, even confronting. And I want you to stay with me, to lean in closely, because this is precisely where real, authentic transformation either profoundly happens or, regrettably, gets subtly avoided. The persistent pattern that has been recycling your setbacks, bringing you back to similar frustrating circumstances again and again, is not primarily external in origin. It is not, first and foremost, the enemy attacking you from outside your gates. It is not merely a string of unfortunate bad luck. It is not simply the season or a cosmic alignment. No, the core of that tenacious pattern lives deeply, powerfully, in the often unacknowledged space between who God unequivocally says you are, His beloved, His chosen, His powerful, His destined one, and who you, through various agreements and conditioning, have agreed to be, the smaller, more limited version of yourself. And every single time, life presents you with a fresh opportunity to step into that larger, more expansive, divinely ordained identity. Something deep inside you, a subtle force, instinctively steps back, retreats to the familiar, well-worn version of yourself. This is not because you are weak or lacking in faith or inherently flawed. It's often because the familiar, even when it is undeniably painful, even when it leads to repeated disappointment, feels subconsciously safer. more predictable, more controllable than the exhilarating yet unknown possibility of truly being more, of experiencing more, of achieving more than you have ever allowed yourself to be. It is the comfort of the cage, even when the door stands open. This is the deeply entrenched cycle that urgently needs to break. And here's the key. It breaks not through more striving, more frantic effort, more willpower, or more external spiritual activity. It breaks through genuine, radical surrender. But let me be absolutely clear. This is not the surrender of giving up, of throwing in the towel in resignation or defeat. This is the courageous, expansive surrender of finally releasing the smaller, protective story you have meticulously woven and fiercely guarded about yourself, your past, and your capabilities, and consciously letting God, the ultimate author, write the actual, grand, epic story that He has always intended for your life. It is giving Him the pen, the narrative, and your wholehearted trust. Coming up, the one thing that has been disguising itself as wisdom in your life, but has actually been the anchor holding you in place. Do not close out of this message before you hear it, because it is the thing you have never been told. There is a persuasive, often insidious voice you have been listening to that sounds eminently reasonable, mature, and discerning. It counsels a cautious approach. It reminds you, with vivid detail, of every single time you ventured too far, believed too much, got your hopes up only to be cruelly disappointed, or extended yourself only to be met with rejection. And because these memories are real, because the pain was authentic, you have been listening to this voice, giving it undue credence. You have been calling it wisdom, acknowledging its perceived prudence. But what you have actually been listening to, my friend, is fear, cleverly cloaked in a sophisticated theological vocabulary, using spiritual-sounding language to justify its limitations. Fear has learned to speak your language. It knows your spiritual journey, your vulnerabilities, your past traumas. It quotes your painful past experiences back to you, not as lessons for growth, but as irrefutable evidence that hope is inherently dangerous, that bold faith is naive, and that safety lies only in retreat and contraction. And precisely because it sounds so much like genuine wisdom, so much like prudence and discernment, you have inadvertently given it a highly influential seat at the table of your inner council. You have allowed it to whisper into your ears, to sway your decisions, to dampen your aspirations, and ultimately to lower your ceiling, preventing you from reaching the expansive heights God intended. It has become a trusted yet treacherous advisor. True discernment, in contrast, does not ever counsel you toward permanent smallness, toward a perpetual state of timid retreat or limited existence. True discernment, empowered by faith, navigates inherent risks with spiritual intelligence and strategic caution, but it never, ever eliminates faith from the equation. It seeks God's guidance through the storm rather than avoiding the storm altogether. And the fundamental, crucial difference between the authentic voice of wisdom and the deceptive voice of fear is this. Wisdom, rooted in divine trust, says, "Proceed with God, knowing He goes before you and is with you." Now, fear, driven by self-preservation, unequivocally says, "Do not proceed at all. Stay put, withdraw, for danger lurks." If the persistent voice in your head, the one you've mistakenly labeled as sagacious counsel, has consistently been telling you that the safest choice is always the no, that genuine protection always means withdrawal from opportunity or challenge, that bold faith is naive folly, then you have been unknowingly entertaining a counselor that has, for far too long, been actively working against your divinely appointed destiny, systematically undermining your potential. It is time, unequivocally, to remove its seat at the table, to silence its persuasive whispers, to dismiss its false counsel and reclaim your inner authority, aligning it with the voice of the one who calls you higher. And yet, even as you process that profound truth, even as you begin to dismantle the stronghold of fear, there is one more layer, often the deepest, most tender layer beneath it. Because here is the part that tends to challenge people at the most profound, most vulnerable level of their being. The ultimate thing that has been blocking you, that deep-seated obstacle, is not just fear in isolation. Underneath the intricate layers of fear, if you are truly willing to courageously go there, if you are willing to embark on that tender internal excavation, you will often find an unhealed expectation. This is the quiet, lingering pain that the people who were supposed to affirm you, to truly see you, to cover you with their love and support, to genuinely believe in you, and to courageously call out the dormant greatness they should have recognized within you, simply did not. And somewhere in that original searing disappointment, in that profound absence of validation or affirmation, you made a pivotal decision, often unconsciously, a silent pact with your wounded heart, that if the people closest to you, those whose opinions mattered most, could not see your worth, your gifts, your potential, then perhaps, tragically, there was nothing truly extraordinary to see at all. You outsourced your sacred identity, the very core of who you are, to people who were never qualified, never divinely appointed, and never capable of truly defining it. And when they inevitably failed to speak life, to champion your spirit, to mirror back your inherent value, you took their silence, their dismissal, or their neglect as the final irrevocable word on your destiny. But let me declare this truth with thunderous clarity. What you were desperately waiting for them to say, what you yearned for them to affirm, was already spoken over you, declared with divine authority, before you were even formed in your mother's womb. Before the very people who disappointed you were even born, before they drew their first breath, God had already unequivocally declared your sacred purpose, named your unique calling, and assigned your inherent greatness. Their silence, their inability to see, their human shortcomings were never the final verdict on your life. It was never even admissible evidence in the court of heaven. They were not the ultimate source of your identity or your destiny. They were never meant to be. And the profound, liberating healing that needs to happen is not waiting for them to finally awaken, to finally see you, to finally offer the validation you once craved. It is the powerful, courageous moment you decisively choose from the depths of your sovereign spirit that what heaven has already eternally declared over you will not, under any circumstances, be held hostage to what mere humans, in their fallibility or blindness, withheld. You reclaim your divine inheritance. And here is the unexpected thing, the radical revelation, the truth that has the power to reframe everything you have just received, everything you have felt stirring within you. You have been tirelessly preparing for a breakthrough. You have been praying with fervent hope for a door to miraculously open, a blessing to powerfully land, a shift to profoundly occur in your external circumstances. But what if the breakthrough, the true, lasting breakthrough, is not something coming to you from the outside, an external event or circumstance that will suddenly change everything? What if the breakthrough, the real seismic shift, is actually you, finally, fully, courageously becoming, in your interior world, in your heart, soul, and mind, what God already unequivocally decreed over your life in the Eternal One? What if the door you have been so patiently, so desperately waiting on is not a physical door out there in the world, but the sacred, pivotal moment when the person you have been becoming, forged and refined in the fires of your trials, steps fully, authentically, and unapologetically into the brilliant light of who you were always meant to be? The miracle, my dear one, is not some distant event arriving from afar. The miracle is being revealed right now within you. And the miracle, the profound, transformative miracle, is you. Place your hand on your heart right now. Take a deep, cleansing breath, letting go of all that no longer serves you. And declare this with me, with conviction, with power, with every fiber of your being. I release every agreement I made with limitation in my lowest moments. I break the cycle of inherited smallness and borrowed disappointment. I no longer give authority to the voices that were never qualified to define me. I let go of the smaller story I have been protecting, and I open my hands to the larger one God has already written. I declare that my waiting was not wasted. My silence was not abandonment. My fire was not punishment. Every season I survived was preparation. Every closed door was divine redirection. Every moment I chose to continue when I wanted to quit, heaven marked it and moved on my behalf. I step into the fullness of who I was created to be. Not striving, not performing, not earning, but receiving. I am not behind. I am not forgotten. I am not disqualified. I am precisely positioned, fully prepared, and divinely appointed for what is already on its way. The breakthrough is not coming. It is here, and I am ready. If this message reached you today, do not let it end here. Share it with someone who is in the hallway right now, someone who needs to hear that the silence is not abandonment and the waiting is not the end. Leave a word in the comments, even just one word, to declare what you are stepping into. Your testimony in this space becomes a testimony for someone else in their dark. This was never just for you. It was always for the ones you would carry it to.